Hello guys, Abel here back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing something new. I'm reacting to the video of Insta influencer and YouTuber Joesthetics, or I think his real name is Joe Lindner. He's German, I believe, so it should be Joe Lindner, but somebody correct me on that. So right off the bat, what an absolutely fabulous physique. The level of conditioning, the muscle mass, just everything about it, incredible, freaky. One of the most aesthetic physiques I have ever seen in my life. And actually, I looked up this full day of eating video because I was interested in what this guy has to eat to maintain this level of conditioning. I mean, obviously, we know that there is no magic. You have to control your calories. But I was curious, like maybe this guy has some, tricks in the head that he can pull off to make this whole thing easier for himself. Because obviously, you will have to make this sustainable in the long term, in some way at least, if you actually want to stay this lean all the time. So I looked up this video and we are going to watch it together, or at least the important parts, and I'm going to be making my commentary. Maybe he has something that he can offer us. Now, is this guy enhanced? Yes. And he's open about it too, so we don't even have to speculate about that. Does it actually help him to stay this shredded? In some ways, yes. So some of the aspects of shreddedness, of being super lean, that are hard, drugs are gonna make it easier, probably. So, your sleep quality goes to shit when your testosterone is suppressed, or at least that is often one of the reported side effects. Your libido, obviously, is going to go to shit when you're super lean and your testosterone is crushed. And if you're on exogenous testosterone all the time and you're maintaining this constant high level, then those things should be better. Maybe your joints are going to hurt less because your estrogen levels are at a normal range. But the main thing that is hard about being shredded, which is food focused and uncontrolled appetite, I would not really expect drugs to be helping with that. I mean, I used to have this idea myself that if someone is on steroids, then it just grants you the ability to be on this 6,000 calorie McDonald's diet, but that's not the case, most likely. So I think there are still some interesting takeaways from this video, so let's jump into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? This is the full day of eating you've all been waiting for. Yeah, man, broski, I can't even believe it.
So first of all, the exaggerated German accent is awesome. I love it. I always like it when people maintain their authentic foreigner accents. Unfortunately, I lost my real Hungarian accent many years ago. And interestingly, some people that know that I am Hungarian by origin are telling me that I have a Hungarian accent. Like, no. Like, you want to know what Hungarian accent sounds like? It's like, well, yes, I'm eating a lot of broccoli because it is very healthy, but occasionally I will also eat some strawberries. Is that how I sound like? Come on.
I'm recording what I'm eating because you really want to see this, bruh? I mean, take a look. This is how everything starts. Yeah, bro, so you see 100 milliliters, 47 calories. So this is what we have for breakfast, A few hundred milliliters of milk. That's it, probably 300, so we have 150 calories from that, literally. I'm just showing you, brother. People asking what I'm eating all day, and I'm like, you don't even want to see, you don't even want to know, but if you really want to know, okay, I can show you, bro.
Actually, I sympathize with this 100%. Like, I had the idea many times before to do a full day of eating video, but I'm always like, man, do people really want to see these meals? I mean, I like my meals and they do the job, but they don't look that good. I'm not a chef by any means. So do you guys really want to see this? So I just keep putting it off. Maybe I should get my girlfriend to make my meals, to at least make them look good so it's presentable to the camera. But this coffee thing that he makes first thing in the morning, I actually like that idea. So I do that a lot when I'm cutting, but in general, really. So what I usually do is instead of the milk, I do a whey protein shake and I add some coffee to it and I put into the exact same jug or measuring cup or whatever that is, a large amount, and I will just sip on that for 10-15 minutes, and it's really nice. It fills me up. The warmth of the liquid is really filling, and the caffeine obviously is nice, stimulative and appetite suppressing. I will often add some sweetener to it, or always add some sweetener to it, some cocoa powder. And so yeah, whey protein, coffee, cocoa powder, sweetener, and a lot of liquids, and it does the job.
Okay, broski, so the first meal is the real meal. It's gonna be eggs. We're gonna make a omelette, a egg whites omelette. That's mean 9 egg whites and 1 whole egg with some onion, but let me show you here in a bit. So this is how I always do it. And then you do it like this, man, bro. Here, just to make the perfect omelette isn't that easy, but I mean, yeah, that's it, man. This is the omelette. As you can see here, I'm having rice cakes. These I'm going to eat with my omelette. And then I even brought some McDonald's curry ketchup. I don't know, man. And obviously having another liter of coffee here, which I always do, you know. I'm basically always drinking the coffee in between. I mean, because it stuffs me a bit. Like I said, I'm having the omelette here. It's 9 egg whites in 1 whole egg. I'm eating this with half of this package of rice cakes here. It's like 50 grams. And that is my meal pre-workout, literally. This is the first meal I eat after I just had this huge coffee, right?
Okay, so his first real meal, a lot of egg whites, 1 whole egg, rice cakes, some low-calorie sauces, I'm assuming, and then more coffee. So all in all, I would say this is not a bad meal to have. I mean, a lot of protein, some fat in it at least to give you some longer lasting fullness. The onions, yeah, I mean, it will be some fiber, but I mean, it's not a lot. It's mainly the flavor that you're getting from those onions. And then the rice cakes. So when I'm looking at this, my first thing is your 6% body fat, let's just say that. Where is the volume in this meal? Like, where is all the veggies or the fruit, but some high volume, low calorie density fiber source? I'm missing that. This meal should have, in my opinion, if you want to be this lean or even anything close to that, at least a pound, like half a kilogram of veggies in it or something low calorie plant source. Now, some of you might be saying, oh my God, like half a kilo of veggies in one meal, like that's excessive. I mean, my stomach would hurt. That's because you're 20% body fat, my friend. Like, sure, I don't do that now either because I'm not that lean. But when I was trying to be, 7% body fat or even anything close to that, I absolutely did that at every single meal. I mean, in each meal, I had like 1 or 2 cucumbers and 2 to 3 whole tomatoes. I mean, that by itself is already like a pound, half a kilo. And I think that's just what you need to do to manage your appetite when you're that super freaking shredded, because the nutrients that you're getting from your food are just not going to be enough inherently by themselves to actually keep you full in between meals. You need that volume component. And okay, so this is something that a lot of you might be thinking right now. Do you get bloated when you eat all that fiber? Yes. Do you get some extra gas formation when you're eating all that fiber? Yes. Is that something that you're trying to avoid when you're that shredded? No. And this is something that fitness professionals don't like to talk about that much. I don't like talking about this myself. It's kind of uncomfortable. It's not a very glamorous thing to hear that all these awesome nutritional recommendations that I'm giving you are going to make you bloated. But when you're getting leaner, and especially if you're getting super, super lean like this guy, or even if you're just trying to maintain a very low body fat percentage, bloating and a very full stomach is not something that you're trying to avoid. It's something that you seek out. That is actually the blessing and the curse of these foods. They are low in calories, they will keep you full, and one of the ways in which they will keep you full is by extending your stomach or distending your stomach. It's just part of the game. You need that full stomach, you need that volume component when you're trying to be 7% body fat or 6% body fat or something like that. Occasionally, when you're trying to take some really cool selfies, when you're posting on Instagram, then yeah, you will go for a couple of hours without these high volume stuff. That's what I did when I did my photo shoot. I was just eating rice cakes and these high glycemic, low residue foods that were high in carbs. And let me tell you, I freaking hated that. Throughout the whole diet and the maintenance period after that, that was by far the worst because I just wanted to freaking eat my face off because I was so hungry because I was missing the fiber and the volume. So that's just part of the game if you're trying to be that lean. Some bloating and some extra gas formation is something that you will just have to tolerate. And if that is something that is unacceptable for you, then maybe being super lean is just not for you. And I'm not playing the tough guy here. I'm just telling you how it is for most people. But, if he doesn't need that, more power to him. This is not me criticizing what he's doing. I'm just telling you that this would not be very workable for most of you guys. But anyway, let's continue.
So bro, I packed everything up, no? But I didn't eat too much carbs, so I need a bit more. So I'm going to eat 5 more of these rice cakes real quick. And then I'm waiting for my taxi, heading to the gym. And in the gym, I'm drinking the magic drink, right? EAAs, pre-workout, all these things. And the rice cakes, just additional carbs real quick. Bro, trust me, I told you that this full day of eating won't be that spectacular. But I can tell you right now that we're gonna make the most epic newsbreaker handle.
Okay, so he's eating a couple of rice cakes as he's waiting for his taxi, and he will eat like 5 rice cakes because he didn't have enough carbs yet. So what I'm about to explain is a little bit difficult to, I guess, relate to if you're not in this spot right now where you're either dieting super hard or you're already trying to hold on to a super, super low body fat percentage. But when you're that lean, calories are a precious thing that you're trying to hold on to. It's not something that you're just spending casually as you're waiting for your taxi. The ability to do that, the ability to just eat a couple of rice cakes as you're waiting for your taxi, that's a cool thing to be able to do when you're nice and fat. And by fat, I just mean at a normal, healthy body fat percentage, not this super, super shredded body fat percentage. But when you're at 6% body fat or leaner than that, you're not going to just casually eat a couple of rice cakes. That's 150 calories. That's something that you could spend on half a kilo of strawberries or even more in veggies or something like that. And that is typically what you will do because you're trying to stay full. And don't get me wrong, I'm not glorifying any of this. I don't like this being the case. I'm just telling you it is the case for most people. A couple of rice cakes casually and 150 calories is not something that you do while putting on your shoes. You do that when you're at 15% body fat or 20%, not when you're at 6. But apparently he can do that. So, this far into the video, I'm starting to have a hypothesis forming in your head. But, maybe he will prove me wrong. Let's see how it continues.
And in Broski we are buying the ingredients. So today we're gonna eat sweet potato fries and knusprige Händel. But wait. Protein bar addict.
So again, purchasing a whole bunch of protein bars. Protein bars, when I was that lean, not that lean, but in shooting distance, was something that I wouldn't even go close to. It's really tasty, not very satiating, and a decent amount of calories. It's just not a good bang for your buck. As a convenience food in emergency situations, sure, it's much better than a Snickers bar. But as a staple, definitely not. Like keeping it in your house in abundance, definitely not. I mean, maybe he's being sponsored by that brand or something and that's why he's doing it. But again, the hypothesis that I started forming in my head is being reaffirmed by these scenes.
So these are the sweet potato fries and we're gonna make them in the air fryer. 20 minutes. Yeah, bro, so the first thing post-workout literally is a ISO lit shake. Yes, brah, and don't let someone fool you. I'm taking milk for these shakes because they taste so much better. And also I need these kind of carbs. It is post-workout, I can take it, man. I'm taking low-fat milk, which is totally okay. I mean, shake it a bit. Holy moly, bro. I mean, take a look. Yeah. Okay, brother, as you can see, knusprige Händel. Let's ask Oma. Oma, is this
knusprig.
Very good. Okay, that's perfect. Also, what you say about the fries, though? What's the name? Very good, no? And some salad, and then I'm having curry ketchup here, and I'm taking Primalog 5 capsules. I'm having my omega-3 here, and my multivitamin again. And now let's eat. I mean, as everyone was always expecting me to eat a lot of fancy food, brother, it is always about the knusprige Händel, literally. And then I'm eating eggs, egg whites a lot. Let's say now I had the salad, right? Usually I would have veggies here like broccoli or cauliflower. And then I always add onions to my meals. Also in the salad because it has almost no calories. It is healthy and it gives a nice taste, So yeah, as you know, this time to eat. Let's get the curry ketchup going and then see when I'm done. Yeah. That was my dinner, literally post-workout, but you saw this was a huge meal, bro. I'm so full right now, I can't even eat anything more, but...
Okay, so his dinner was some sweet potato fries, some chicken, some whey protein with milk, and a salad, which at least had a decent size to it. So I would say this meal was by far the best in this entire day. I mean, this at least had some volume to it, some fiber in it. I would say considering how low volume he ate throughout the whole day, I would definitely be starving hungry at this point. So I don't think I would be able to just limit myself to this meal that has this size and this amount of volume to it. But from his body language and from his reaction, it was more than filling for him. So, more power to him. Again, if I'm being 100% honest, sweet potato fries, not really something that I'm going to eat if I'm working with a limited number of calories and I'm shredded. I definitely didn't eat things like that when I was at level of leanness. And quite frankly, you don't need to eat that to feel like you're having an incredible meal. I mean, yes, right now I would take that anytime instead of a salad with only non-starchy veggies. But when your body fat is that low and you have no freaking leptin floating around in your system, I mean, exaggerated, but pretty much, then some salted tomatoes and cucumbers with some spice on it is like, whoa, holy shit, incredible meal. So, spending that much time on this prepackaged sweet potato fry thing, questionable if I would do that, but as for one meal, that's totally fine. Again, the salad is not that big, so I would definitely have a lot more veggies in there. I would want to make that meal last a lot longer than he made it last. So that was his dinner.
Took so long, huge salads, huge meal, chicken, the sweet potatoes, ketchup, yeah, epic.
And from his body language, it seems like he's full. It's like, oh my God, I ate so much. He acts like he just had a massive Thanksgiving dinner or something like that.
It's like 10 p.m. now, so my last meal before bed is just gonna be protein bar. You saw that one protein bars that I just bought. Yeah, I will just eat 1 or 2 of these. And that's the full day of eating.
And then, okay, later in the day, he will still have some protein powders. So basically, I added everything together, which was not actually easy because he didn't list the macros here, but I had to do some clever things like stopping the footage when he was doing his shopping, so to see what the calories were on that sweet potato fries thing. And I looked up some of the supplements that he was using in there, like the pre-workouts, which I didn't mention here because I didn't feel like it was relevant. And I'm counting, including the protein bars that he will have after dinner, between 25 and like 2,800 calories. So that is not a lot of food. I don't know what this guy weighs and how tall he is, but with this physique and this amount of muscle mass, I would say if he is, say, 1.80 m, so 5'11" tall roughly, he would be between 90 and 95 kilos. So for a guy of that size, I would say, that amount of calories, like say 2,800, that's not a lot of food. I was eating that much when I was, less than 80 kilos. So you have to be pretty clever with how you manage your satiety. And quite frankly, from what I've seen in this video, this guy is really not overthinking the whole thing. It doesn't even really seem like he is tracking macros down in each meal religiously. He's kind of just freestyling it, which is a good thing because that means that he has a system that he's relying on. He has a template probably with different foods and he's just kind of rotating through those, and he's not over stressing whether he's exactly eating 2,600 on this day or 27 or 28. He's just kind of hovering around a certain intake. So that's a good thing that he's able to do that. But in terms of satiety management and appetite management, he's really not making a big fuss about any of that stuff. And I would say for 99.99% of people, it's going to be super, super hard to make this work if you're not really, really systemic about all of that. And so, watching this video and looking at the fact that this guy maintained this level of conditioning year round, basically, my conclusion is that this guy has no appetite. This guy is just really not a big eater. And that's basically his superpower. We can talk about the steroids and the enhancement, and yes, that's going to help him stay more muscular. But in terms of maintaining this level of conditioning, boy, does it really help if you don't have a huge appetite. Basically, a skeptical way in which you can think about whether it is feasible for you to maintain this level of body fat percentage, that level of conditioning, it would be, first of all, how big of an eater you are. Or how much do you like eating, maybe first. So if you think about all the things that you love doing in your life, whether it's spending time with your family, playing video games, having sex, like how high does eating good food rank within those things? If it's really high up, that's, I wouldn't say that means you cannot do it, but that's gonna be a strike against you. And the second thing would be just how big is your appetite? So are you the kind of person who says things like, I forgot to eat? I got so caught up in these things, I forgot to eat. Is that something that you say on a regular basis? If yes, you might just be the right candidate for staying that lean year round. If you're like, no, bro, like I could be in the most stressful period in my life and I could be the busiest I've ever been, I will not forget to eat, okay? If that's you, again, it doesn't mean that you cannot do it. It just means it will be harder. So I would say that this guy, from everything I've seen here, is just really not a big eater. And that is such a huge factor because, physiologically, in terms of just being able to do it physically, I definitely could have stayed at, say, 7% body fat. I even planned on doing that for a while. And the reason why I couldn't do it, well, there were a couple of reasons. One being I was freaking out that I had still no libido like 2 months later. But one thing is that having to always manage your satiety and appetite, needing to have these high volume, high fiber, really big meals all the time to stay full, that just gets tiring after a while. You know, if I was out of town for one day, I couldn't just sit down and prepare this big meal. I was freaking scratching the wall because I was so freaking hungry, you know? And that just gets tiring after some time. Like, it's nice to have some flexibility in life when you don't have to micromanage everything and you can just go about your day and things will work out and you're not going to binge just because you couldn't have a 2-kilogram salad. But there are some people for whom that whole thing is just not needed. And you can hear that from the language of some of these people. Some people, if you ask them, it's like, oh my God, you got to 7% body fat. It was incredible. How did you do it? And their response will be, you know, like nothing special. Like they're just so not overthinking the whole thing. It's just so easy, so simple, no major struggles. And we are just different. Like we have different levels of appetite, or satiety responses are regulated differently or to a different extent. Leptin levels might be different at different body fat percentages for different people. Can I say different one more time? And those are just things that will determine how easy it will be for you to stay super lean. And of course, everybody will have a somewhat different response to all of this. So I'm not saying that just because I had this, then you will have this and it will be super hard to stay at, say, 7% body fat. But most people kind of fall in the middle of that bell curve. So some outliers, like this guy, can just eat like this, really not overthink the whole appetite management concept, and they will have a relatively easy time. For some other people, it will be borderline impossible to manage their appetite as they get this lean in the first place. And most people will be kind of in the middle. I am someone who could actually do this physically. It's just the mental aspect that gets to me over time. And I would predict that most people are kind of like that because I found myself to be relatively average in most aspects of this whole game. And of course, there's always the possibility that this guy doesn't actually eat like this. And this was just something that he showed off to the camera, in which case I don't really see the point. Like, why would you do a full day of eating video then if that's not how you actually eat? So let's assume that that is actually how he eats. And I actually opened up another video, which was in the recommended videos section. So another full day of eating video of his. And there he was talking about eating white rice after his workout and for dinner, like 200 grams of white rice. So basically right there's like 1,000 calories a day just from white rice, which is like really not filling, not nearly as much as vegetables. And to be honest, watching these just once again reminded me how these bodybuilding diets got so common. Like people eating peanut butter and rice cakes and brown rice and oats, and these being the staple meals for a contest prep. To me, that's just mind-blowing. And I know I was shitting on this before a lot of times, like how dumb these bodybuilding diets are, because it's almost like you're intentionally trying to make this more difficult for yourself. Like, why in the world, seriously guys, why in the world would anybody eat peanut butter and rice cakes, like a really convenient bulking food, when you're trying to be 5% body fat? It just does not make sense to me. I mean, honestly, when I was getting super lean, of course it was not easy and I was still hungry and I woke up in the middle of the night hungry, but I was, till the very end, I was able to manage my appetite really well because my food selection was just so, I would say, appropriate. And that's the way that most people should be eating. So, you know, these guys that just maintain this incredible level of conditioning, the irony is that many times those are not the best people from whom you should be gathering your information as far as how you should be managing your diet. If you're looking for good examples about how to actually manage your appetite if you're trying to stay very lean, I mean, there is me, of course. I think I have good information in that regard. But I have to say Greg Doucette, I think he pretty much eats in the way that most people should be eating if they're trying to stay lean. Of course, now there are more recipes popping up because he's pushing that cookbook that he has. But if you open up a Greg Doucette full day of eating video, everything is high volume, high fiber, lots of fruits and vegetables. He's not freaking out that fruits are going to be refilling liver glycogen and not helping you to build muscle, which, in case you're saying those things, just put on a clown hat or a clown mask on yourself, please. But he's managing it really well, high satiety foods, and that's his secret of staying, 9% body fat year round and looking amazing. Menno Henselmans, I would say, is also a really good influence in that regard, and he actually influenced me a great deal. He has great information on that. He's not very prolific in that regard. He's not showing what he eats and all of those things, but he has a lot of good stuff to say on that as well. And I do my best over here as well. So that would be my reaction on Joesthetics' video. And again, none of this was criticism towards him. I mean, again, incredible physique, and I have a huge amount of respect towards anybody who can pull this off year round. I'm just trying to point out that the way he manages his diet is probably not the way you should be managing your diet, even if you're not trying to be shredded. So I would say that even if you're trying to be, I would say anything under 15% body fat, really, I think you could be doing better in terms of food selection and managing your appetite. So, the rice cakes and those sorts of things, nah, maybe when you're maintaining a reasonably lean physique over time, you can eat these things, but I wouldn't make those a staple, But anyway, that's just my take. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and check out the links for coaching, and you can find me on Instagram and all of these cool things. Just check out the show description, you find everything. So yeah, see you guys next time.